Was.
I worked all night, so I'm just running off of Mountain Dew and coffee.
Really? Wow.
I worked all night, so I'm just running off of Mountain Dew and coffee.
Wow.
I worked all night, so I'm just running off of Mountain Dew and coffee.
Wow.
Mr. Thomas.
Hey, Mr. Director, how there?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been so long.
2 days.
Yeah. How was those Golden Glaze?
They were good. I bought too many. I just gave them out to my runners after practice. I got 3 dozen holes and 2 donuts. And so I ate one and ate like 2 holes, and that was too much for me. So
Wow.
still tastes the same.
I come through there. There was a line when I came through there this morning.
Yeah, there was a line when I went, so I was fortunate to grab it quickly.
Yeah. You should let me know what your schedule's like next week so I can reschedule that.
Okay, I'll message you, and I can tell you I'm positive Wednesdays are either a Monday or a Wednesday. Either week is probably the best day.
Okay.
But
Okay. Yes.
There's a little stand.
Oh, great.
Joe
Yes.
said, give that to you.
Thank you.
If you need anything, just come.
Will
Let me
do.
know, let me know.
When it's over, you want me to just leave this here?
Yes.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay.
Are you Aaron?
Yes.
Good morning, Eric.
Huh?
I said, how are you? Not are you Aaron?
Oh, I'm good, thank you. I'm
Yes,
awake.
we just met apparently.
I think I'm doing pretty good. I actually got my kid to school this morning on time. You know, we're not used to waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's totally new.
That was an accomplishment by itself.
Yes, it was. And nobody forgot anything.
What you know of?
Right, that we know of.
I didn't receive my book this time.
Oh, I guess it's still. I will send you a digital one for now so you can look
Okay.
at it.
Okay.
I hate USPS.
Hey, Terrence, did you get my email that I just sent?
I did. Thank you.
Okay.
Just sent it to you.
All right.
Good morning, Judge. Welcome.
She's muted. Well, you muted. We're talking to you.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Okay.
Looking, I'm missing Commissioner Cheney.
She just joined.
I'm here.
There it is. Okay. Commissioner Fuentes. And Rabbi Litvin.
No.
Okay. Well, let me call this meeting to order. It's 9 o'clock, and we have a sufficient number of commissioners here to do that. Our first item of business today will be that we have 4 new members to welcome to the commission, and I say welcome to each of them. And at this time, our executive director will provide the oath of office to you to be officially on board.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And Representative Glenn, since you're on the phone, we will have you, all of you, raise your right hand and repeat after me. And we know that you're raising your hand over there on the phone. So I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear,
or affirm, as the case may be,
firm as the case may be,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of
Kentucky.
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
and that I will faithfully execute
and that I will faithfully execute
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
the office of Commissioner of the Kentucky Commission on Human Rights,
the office of Commissioner of the Kentucky Commission on Human Rights,
Commissioner of Human Rights.
according to law,
according to law,
and I do further solemnly swear or affirm
and I do further solemnly swear or affirm
that since the adoption of the present Constitution,
since the adoption of the present Constitution,
I, being a citizen of the state,
I, being a citizen of this state,
have not fought a duel with deadly weapons
have not fought a duel with deadly weapons, nor acted as a second
within the state nor out of it,
within the state or out of it.
Nor have I sent or accepted a challenge to fight.
Nor have I sent or accepted a challenge
with deadly weapons, nor have I acted as a second in carrying a challenge.
With a duel with deadly weapons, nor acted as a second,
nor aided or assisted any person thus offending. So
help me God.
Welcome to the Kentucky Commission on Human Rights.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Welcome each of you. This indeed a pleasure for us to welcome you aboard this body, a very hard working body, and we know you join in at work. I guess for the record, before I have you introduce yourselves and the other commissioner, introduce confirmation of the form and confirmation of the public notice to executive director.
We do have a quorum and public notice was sent.
Okay, with that, what I would like to do is have each of the commissioners introduce themselves. Where you're from, what you currently do, just a little information by yourself so that our new commissioners will be able to know you and do. And I'm looking on my screen, and I guess my very top, I have. Let's do the new ones first. Let's start with you, Jim.
Okay. I'm retired Judge Tony Stringer, and I am a native of Louisville, Kentucky. I was born and raised here, educated in the Jefferson County Public School System, went to Kentucky State University, then on to the Indiana University School of Law at Bloomington. From 2000 until 2014, I served this community as a judge, first in Jefferson District Court, and then after retiring from active service as a family court judge for 5 years in the senior status program. I am now retired and I do teach part-time at Simmons College of Kentucky and at Sullivan University. I also do some mediations on occasion. Then I do whatever I want to.
Okay. Thank you for that, Tony. Next, let's do Mr. Worth, Rick Worth.
Good morning, everyone. I'm pleased to be with you. I'm still shocked that I'm asked to be a part of this incredible group. So I'm feeling a little bit anxious and intimidated to hang out with such incredibly skilled people. I am Chief Executive Officer here at Children's Home Northern Kentucky in Covington, Kentucky. We care for abused and neglected children in state's custody. And we also have a wide arena of care and outpatient service, serving kids throughout all 120 counties of the Commonwealth. We have 3 locations up here in Northern Kentucky, and I've been with this organization since 2010. Before 2010, I served in ordained ministry in the diocese, in the Roman Catholic Diocese of Covington, Kentucky, and prior to that, I taught high school for 6 years. I got my undergraduate degree at Thomas More University with degrees in sociology, philosophy, and theology. And then I went on to get my master's degree at the University of St. Mary of the Lake, Chicago, graduating with a master's in divinity. So I live now in Union, Kentucky, in the community of Triple Crown with my husband, Mike, 4 birds and 2 Airedales. So it's a pleasure to be with all of you.
Okay, thank you for that. Next, Mr. Karama. I want to make certain I pronounce it correctly.
Yes, sir. You got it right. My service is not great right now, so hopefully you all can hear me okay. Am I coming through okay, not breaking up?
You are now.
Okay, I am now. Well, hopefully I'll stay. I'm in between dropping my daughters off. So I guess that'd be first and foremost. My name is Divine Karama. I am a girl dad. I am surrounded by all beautiful girls and women. I am a hip hop artist by trade. I am the director of a nonprofit called Believing It Forever, Inc. We do a lot of community service and mentoring, kind of on the front lines in some underserved neighborhoods here in Lexington, Kentucky. I'm also a part of a Black-owned business called Kentucky LLC. And through that, we do a lot of youth programming with Fayette County Public Schools and other organizations within the city. And just to keep it short, out of respect for the meeting, my passion primarily is young people. I love serving our young people. My path towards leadership has been unconventional. And there's a lot of kids out there who feel they don't have what it takes to be leaders because their path is unconventional. So I've dedicated my life to helping them figure out what their passion is and what their purpose is in life and using that to lead from where they are. I also teach a hip hop and leadership class at the University of Kentucky. And we also have a community partnership with the university called the Cornerstone, where myself and 2 other community activists have collaborated together with programming that connects students and staff on campus to organizations within the community to continue to build capacity and just connections. I've been able to serve with Mayor Gordon on her racial equity and justice commission over the summer. And I was also on the front lines of the Breonna Taylor protest, not just in presence, but also artistically. We tried to use music as a way to communicate some of the grievances of the community. We believe hip hop and expressive art is something that is very important for our young people, not just in literary development, but also just an outlet of expression in a way that they can communicate what they are going through. I'm happy to be here. I'm blessed to be here and to play my part.
Well, thank you and welcome aboard. Representative Glenn. Are you still there? If you're talking, your phone is muted, I think.
Yeah, he's on mute.
Can you unmute him, Terrence?
I can only ask that he unmute, so that's what I've been clicking.
Okay. Okay, I guess we'll come back.
Is there a particular code, star something he needs to press in order to mute?
Am I back on again?
Now you are. Now you are.
Okay, I'm sorry. I live in the city of Owensboro. I've lived here for 30 years. I have taught at the 2-year college level to 4-year college level for 35 years. I have a BS degree, an MBA from University of Wisconsin system. I have a doctorate in higher education, University of Kentucky system. I was a state legislator for 12 years. Prior to that, I was a city commissioner for the city of Owensboro. My wife passed away about 10 years ago from cancer. We came here to teach. I have 2 children. My kids are adults. My son's working on his doctorate at at Michigan State University. My daughter is a manager for Duke Energy in Florida. My life is very simple. And I'm glad to be on this commission.
Well, welcome aboard. We look forward to working with you. Now let's go through the commissioners, and I'm looking, Commissioner Henry, you're up next.
All right, are we reintroducing ourselves? My name is Bernice Henry, and I live in the top eastern part of the state. We're kind of separate from everyone else, and I wanted to give you a backdrop about that. We're a tri-state area, borders on West Virginia and Ohio. So that gives us a really distinct viewpoint of the state and surrounding states. I have worked for 31 years for the Ashland Independent School District as a part of our early childhood program. And what my job is to create collaborations and partnerships with community people, provide resources for our families and our children. And I've met many, many people in that particular capacity. I attended the community college and Moorhead in its very early beginnings. So a lot of things changed with Moorhead, Kentucky. And I've been very active in our community in many aspects. I've been a part of many boards. I've always worked with young people and their parents, and always felt that if I can do something to help someone, then it would only serve to make our community a better place to live. I'm very excited about being a part of this commission because I've worked in our local commission for many years and have enjoyed the trainings, traveling around the state and being a part of making a great deal of change in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So I'm interested in actually getting a chance to meet our new people and the other people that I've only met via Zoom. So I'm anxious for a time that we can actually meet face to face.
Okay, thank you. Next is our Vice Chair, Commissioner Frank Smith.
Thank you, Chair Burris. This is Frank Smith, as has been mentioned. I serve as the pastor and actually the founder of Christ's Church for Our Community here in Louisville, and I've served in that capacity for 21 years. Began in the ministry at age 13 and have traveled throughout the nation, at least 25 states in my ministry. Served also here at Simmons College of Kentucky as Executive Vice President since 2007, and been really engaged with helping the school, helping the vision of President Cosby move from one floor in one building to now over 5, maybe I should say 7 properties and still counting. And our student enrollment is up, accreditation has been attained, et cetera. Of course, officially named HBCU. I have previously served as president of the Interdenominational Ministerial Coalition here in Louisville, and served a 5-year term and then came back last year to serve an interim year as president through the pandemic and through the pleas for social justice. Serve as financial secretary for the Central District Baptist Association, hold a couple of offices with the National Baptist Convention of America International, just a litany of various involvements. I'm involved with Park Community Credit Union as advisory member, Signature Partnership, University of Louisville co-chair. And so we're just a busy guy, but really appreciate this opportunity to be on the commission. And my lovely wife, Teresa, is part of Delta Sigma Theta. She's running for president of the Louisville Alumni Chapter. And she's also a CPA and works and is also licensed as a funeral director and embalmer. And we're just a busy family. And I have one son, Jason, who's about 22 and going on 23. And just enjoy this work, and it's a pleasure to serve.
Thank you, Frank. Commissioner Cheney.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to all of the new commissioners. I'm very much looking forward to meeting each of you and getting to know all of you a little bit better. My wife and I live in Washington County, and she is a retired occupational therapist. I operate my own consulting business. I like to call it a consulting business with a heart. I work with nonprofits across Kentucky and actually across the nation to increase equitable and inclusive access to programs and services that help low-income folks, and particularly folks of color, have the ability to become homeowners, to start their own businesses, and to expand their businesses and increase employment opportunities in disadvantaged neighborhoods. It sounds pretty dry and boring, but it's actually not. It's quite rewarding. When you think about places like Louisville, there is a 40% home ownership gap between white families and Black families. We still today face an incredible level of disparity with regard to employment opportunity, to the ability to gain access to programs and services that help lower income folks be able to move up the economic ladder. And so it's something that I care about deeply. I guess I'm not real sure what else to say, so I'll just stop there.
Okay, well, thank you. Next, Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you, Chair Burris. I am from Madisonville, Kentucky, which is over in the western part of Kentucky. Been a lifelong citizen here in the city of Madisonville. Did Forest Park College in St. Louis, where did my mortuary service work there, and I'm a licensed funeral director with Mason and Sons Funeral Home in the city of Madisonville, Kentucky here. I also serve as president of the Kentucky State Crime Stoppers Association with 20 facilities across the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Also, I'm president of the Community Improvement Foundation of Madisonville, Hopkins County. And one of the great things that we've been able to do for the past 25 years is a local television program called Focus with Tim Thomas that you can also watch on Facebook Live and see some of the interesting things that we're doing across not only Western Kentucky, but across the state as well. Been in public service for ever since a teenager and continue to do work for the betterment of the people of our communities.
Thank you. Commissioner Fuentes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to say hello to the new members. It's a pleasure to be here with them. My name is Luis David Fuentes. I'm from Cuba. I have been here in Kentucky for 21 years. First of all, I want to show my gratitude to this country and to this state, the Commonwealth. As an immigrant, I had a really hard beginning. You know, I was sweeping the floor in a factory for almost 3 years. And I started studying, and I become a professional environmental engineer. I worked 10 years for the Department of Environmental Protection. And later, I founded a publication, Il Kentubano. It's a publication for the local Hispanic community. Since then, 12 years ago, I have been working very close with my community. So I'm proudly representing the Hispanic community. I also a member for the board for the Hilda's Club Kentuckiana. It's a cancer organization for supporting, you know, a family. They are sick with cancer. Again, I fell in love with this country because even with my bad English, I have been able to accomplish too many things. I have been able to meet very nice people. Again, it's a pleasure to be one of the commissioners for the human rights, by some way helping and serving the Commonwealth. One of my reasons or one of my goals is defending this nation because I really love this nation. I'm coming from a country that doesn't allow you to have any rights. I'm coming from a socialist country that doesn't allow you to think different. So here I found the happiness with my family. I have 2 kids, 17 and 15 years old. I am, again, part of a huge community. This month, the next few weeks, the census 2020, the results will be published. Many people will be surprised to see how many Hispanic and how many Cubans are living here in Louisville. So again, I'm really proud to be part of this, community, representing the Hispanic community, and also being serving this board. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And last, my name is Raymond Burse. I have the pleasure of serving as your chair. I am now retired. I am a licensed, unpracticing attorney in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, having had experience as the university president and as also a corporate general counsel for the General Electric Company. And with that, we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is public participation. And we are having a special treat today. And I will ask Commissioner Cheney to introduce our special guest today.
Good morning. I'd like everyone to give a good warm welcome to Mackenzie Coulter. Mackenzie authored the first place essay in the Bardstown Nelson County Human Rights Commission's essay contest. Mackenzie will be going to Paul Mitchell School in the fall to get a cosmetology degree. She's pretty spectacular, goes to school full time, maintains excellent grades, and works, I think, Mackenzie, about 30 hours a week at a couple of different jobs. Yeah, yeah. So let's see, Kenzie, you're muted. But this morning, Kenzie's going to share her essay, her award-winning essay with us. And Kenzie, thank you so much for taking time away from your work and your school to join us this morning.
Can you hear me?
We can
Yes.
hear you.
Okay, all right. What does your living room look like? A living room. It's a place where families can feel safe and at home, a place to be with the people you love and watch goofy movies, and a place without harm or judgment from the outside world. In America, it's a place for we the people to enjoy all the benefits afforded by the Constitution. What do you see in your living room? The normal American family sees a man, a woman, and sometimes children. But in my case, I see 2 women and 3 girls. We are also we the people. If you sit in the far left corner of my house where my bedroom is located, listen for just a moment, it sounds like any other home. An 11-year-old watches Minecraft laughing at a YouTuber's jokes. An extremely talented 19-year-old sings along to Hamilton while playing her ukulele. Then there's my moms. I can feel their love that cuddled on the couch at the end of the night, reading, speaking softly about their day, or watching Gilmore Girls. I feel safe and at home. Nothing seems weird about this house because I have 2 moms, but sometimes the joyful sounds in my home are interrupted. I've heard my moms alarmed and with anger discussing remarks made by total strangers, strangers who do not know my home. Strangers have commented, those lesbians should not be able to have children. They called my moms disgusting. Other times, my mom's voice is filled with worry, discussing the latest legislation and attempts to legally break apart my family or strip us from the same benefits afforded to other families, even though we too are we the people. I know for a fact one conversation that should not be taking place in either a warm living room or a wild internet. Can you guess which one? It's not your opinion. It's not what's right. It's not your alleged facts. It's words dressed as hate and, as you could say, disgust. Even in my community, the ideal family is thought to be made up of a man, a woman, and possible children. But I know an ideal family can be 2 men, 2 women, and possible children. Love makes a family, just like yours. Some people don't stay or show interest in their children's lives, but they still don't get looked at differently walking down the street. They are still normal, right? Over 200 years, we the people was ideally considered to include those people, but not my mom's. My home is a normal home, and the love that flows around my home could not get any greater. The moral of the story is be you. Let everyone know and see the real you. Be who you are and don't let anything hold you back. If you think you will have no one or you will be unfriended, at the very least, you have me. We the people will be right here sitting in our normal home.
Well, thank you, Mackenzie. That is absolutely powerful. Now I understand why you won that contest. That is fantastic. Really appreciate you. Appreciate the thoughts, everything that you put together, and it's been, a privilege for you, for the commission, to have you here today to read that, because it espouses almost all of the things that we're all about and what we try to do in this state. Really, thank you for that. And I think, is your mother on?
I think she is, yes.
Yeah. Well,
You're muted.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
Okay. Well,
Hey,
congratulations. Hell, we really appreciate this.
Yeah, we're very proud of her. Very proud.
Yep, that it is. But again, we'll have to figure out how we can take your essay and use it more broadly for some of the commission work across the state and spread it further. So we'll have to work on that. But again, thank you for doing that, and thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you, Kenzie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda. But so that if the staff think I omitted them being able to introduce themselves to the new commissioners, I did not. As we do the reports, we'll have the staff members introduce themselves at that point in time in the agenda. So that's the way we'll go. So the next item up is the approval of the minutes of the meeting held on March 18th, 2021. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
And second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second that the minutes of the March 18, 2021 meeting be approved. All those in favor, just raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Those minutes are approved. So now we move to section reports. The first one up is our executive director, Terrence Sullivan.
Good morning, everyone. I am, for your our new commissioners, I'm Terrence Sullivan. I am the executive director here as of June of this year, or this previous year, I guess. I have done work in multiple sectors pretty much, but my passion has always been in poverty and equity. And so I studied policy and economics in undergrad, and then went to University of Law School to further that and work on changing the laws in relation to poverty and equity. And so prior to coming here, I worked for the General Assembly at the LRC for quite some time. And Representative Glenn was one of those legislators I worked with. But I also went and worked for an education nonprofit focused on adding equity to the classroom. And that was my position prior to coming here. I'm happy to have you all on board. It seems like a great group, and I look forward to meeting each of you and working with you in the future. As far as the report, I do have one. It's not a change, but for budget and personnel, there's still no budgetary changes, but I did want to bring up something that was shared with us. There's no need for commissioners to submit a timesheet unless it's something outside of the meeting. You don't have to fill out a timesheet for the meeting dates. Your attendance kind of satisfies that, and so we don't have to have you all submit those and do that from now on because it's covered. So that's just a quick update. That way it saves you all a little bit of the hassle of especially right now, of trying to scan it in, send it, all of that. So that's not necessary. As far as positions updates, the managing attorney and staff attorney positions have been posted. I know the last two meetings I was saying they would be posted, should be posted. They posted, and we have started the process of reviewing and interviewing. And I look forward to announcing, discussing those new hires in our next board meeting in May. We also have started the process with the vacant enforcement officer position as well. And I expect all of these to move because all of these positions are very needed. And so we are operating at a very limited capacity right now. And so we're trying to move. And then something that I just wanted to get out there in front of you all is once we have these positions set, I really want to sit down with Brandon and talk about where we are financially and see about how we can also look at options to get some administrative help, seeing where we have any flexibility, what we can do with what we have, and just identifying ways we can try to improve some things. As far as our training and professional development, it sounds like a broken record at this point, but we are really doing a lot of conversations and trainings with HUD and EEOC. So we had another HUD training last week and another one the week before that. And it's really about working towards our final determination or final investigative reports, and also getting the database, being able to work in that more efficiently. To that end, for the EEOC side, I talked to our EEOC reps last week and got more of us added, including myself, to that database for some of the data entry and management. And now we're working with them to set up a training so we can all work through best practices in that software as well. But just making sure that we all know that we all can jump in when needed, because we don't want to add hiccups if someone can't make it or can't work. And that's one of the problems with a smaller agency is if everyone's doing one function, if that one person has an illness in their family or they themselves have to miss time, we lose that. And so we're trying to make sure that we're keeping the wheels moving so people can step in. As far as outreach, we had a very great conversation with our Women's History Month celebration. I know Commissioner Cheney was part of that and was there. There were quite a few people from around the community, all through Kentucky, who came and spoke and talked about what they were seeing in the field, and it talked about things moving forward on how we can be more inclusive and we can be more cognizant of issues that people are facing. Marianne and Juan, as well as the rest of their team, did a great job putting that on, and I'm sure anyone who was in attendance can attest to that. I mentioned this as a possibility at our last meeting about working with the Louisville Human Relations Commission, because they had a big grant program that they were working towards fair housing. And since it's now Fair Housing Month, we are putting together a large event on April 21st with housing experts and advocates. The last list I saw, and Marianne could correct me, but there were quite a few people, really knowledgeable people who can help with things like tenants' rights, eviction rights, or what to do if you are facing an eviction, where you can find resources, and who you can talk to. And so that can be a really beneficial program for a lot of people. And I know of 2 people who are going to be on there who do this work daily and can really speak in a panel of the day-to-day of what it looks like to fight for people's rights in the housing space. And so I look forward to that. And we can, if anyone is interested, the flyer, we approved it, I guess, yesterday. So that should be going out today, and we can share with anyone who's interested the registration information and all of that. And you can also share it with your networks. For technology, wanted to thank Brandon for working to put together that access database so we can now try to test the end-to-end option with some of this case tracking. And so we're testing it out now, but we want to see what functionality it can give us to have better case management of things coming in and have a clearer picture of where things sit. I envision that by the time we have another meeting, we will have been able to test and discern what needs to be tweaked, or if anything can be tweaked, or if we go another route. This was put together through input from everyone who, mainly Aaron and Marianne, on the intake side of seeing what we need to include to monitor things through the process. And so we hope to have more information on what that looks like. It's testing phase right now. I'm having a little trouble opening it because I have a Mac, and Access and Mac hate each other. And so working on getting a program to work that will let me access it. But other than that, we're moving forward on that because that can be really helpful to our work. And it reduces some of the duplicative work that some people might be doing on putting something in their own team report spreadsheet and then needing to transfer it over to something else so they can only do it when they're putting it into this database and putting it in the federal database, but not an Excel sheet that then also has to get shared around. And so just saving some time. The last thing I really wanted to just highlight was part of this office and part of this role that I have is to serve on a few state boards in some capacity around some of these around related issues to our work. And this past month, I was asked 4 months ago, but we finally had our final conversations for diversity scoring for the Council on Post-Secondary Education. And what that was is the universities put together their diversity plans, and then the panel with the council is to go through them and rate. So they'll list whatever their initiatives are, and then you have to rate their fidelity, effectiveness, and what lessons they learned moving forward in instituting that strategy. And so that was a really great experience and a privilege to do, because it's really, it makes me feel good to see the dedication to some of these diversity initiatives that these universities are putting together. The explicit focus on certain groups is really, it makes me happy because we know as a state, we have to do a better job of increasing access to education for so many groups who are left out. And I applaud the universities that are really putting a lot of work into making that a reality. And all of the universities I reviewed had really impressive outreach plans of how they were going to target people in high school to get them to go to college, because that's one of the harder things, is getting people to recognize that they can go. And so, in showing them how to get there. And so I was really grateful to be a part of that. And then the last thing is, in my report, is actually now a lie. I did not get to go with Commissioner Thomas to Madisonville. I went to Madisonville to talk to the mayor about starting the local commission for Madisonville and Hopkins County. But unfortunately, when I got there, the mayor had something come up. And so I did have a good meeting with Commissioner Thomas, and we talked a lot about some of the work that we want to do with the commission. And we'll be circling back and having that conversation on helping create that local commission in our hometown. Any questions?
Any questions for any commissioners for the executive director? Okay, hearing none, the next on the agenda is Brandon with the budget and personnel report.
Hello and welcome to everyone. My name is Brandon Ross. I'm a career state employee, primarily spent my time with the Transportation Cabinet and the Finance Cabinet, specializing in program management and fund accounting. Received my MBA from Kentucky State University, and originally from Catlettsburg, where Commissioner Henry is from, up in the same neck of the woods, as we like to say. So you have my report before you. Item number 2, we are probably going to request a small increase in our federal appropriation for this fiscal year to cover some excess expenditures, mostly related to the forensic accounting investigation and the cost due to that. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Brandon on the finances? Okay, hearing none, the next is the enforcement unit report, Aaron Spalding.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron Spalding. I am the enforcement supervisor. I've been with the commission now for, it'll be 16 years in August. I have worked in the legal department, in the intake department, and the enforcement department. So I've kind of been all over the agency. But I am from Louisville, and it's nice to meet you all, and I'm excited with our new appointments. But I have provided you all with the enforcement unit report, and we submitted 22 cases, 1 conciliation, 14 no probable cause cases, 2 withdrawals, and 5 withdrawal with settlements. We are going to have to pull a few cases today. The enforcement unit has to pull an MPC closure, Sandra McClure, 2100-H. It is.
Hey, Aaron.
Yes.
Real quick, will you explain what pulling a case means for the new commissioners, just so they
Okay.
know?
Yes, my fault. When we pull a case, that means that we have submitted it for you all to review and to vote on. But when we pull a case, we are pulling that case from those submissions, and you will not be voting on that case. And sometimes we pull cases for different reasons. Today, we're pulling the enforcement unit is pulling a housing case because the parties had come to an agreement, and it does not look like that agreement was upheld. So we don't feel comfortable closing that out until we can figure out why that agreement was not upheld. Also, Colt has 3 withdrawal with settlements that he's pulling, and he can explain those a little bit more. So of the 22 cases, 4 cases will be pulled and not voted on for closure.
Will you identify all 4 of those?
Yes. Let me pull. I had them right here. Fault. We have, for the first pull is McClure versus BTT Development 1 LP Mayfield Manor Apartments. Is a no probable cause closure, and the case number is 2100-8, HUD number 04-20-2910-8. The other 3 cases that we are going to pull are withdrawal with settlements, and that's Alberto Santiago versus Transit Authority of the River City, case number 1036-PA. Also, another withdrawal with settlement we're pulling is Alberto Santiago versus Transit Authority of River City, 1091-PA. And the last withdrawal with settlement that we are pulling is Alberto Santiago versus Transit Authority of the River City, 1093-PA. So those will be the 4 cases pulled. Other than that, does anyone have any questions on the other 18 cases that are on the agenda?
Yes, Aaron, I wanted to just point out just a minor clerical factor in our book. It's page 120. Bear with me just one moment. I know that you all always want to know these things and fix it, so I just thought I'd mention it. At the bottom, this is the case related to, I hope the pages haven't changed here.
Can you just give me the case name?
This is it, Charles Jackson versus Hidden Hill Apartments.
Gotcha.
There is a sentence midway, 3rd paragraph, where it says complaint alleged that he was threatened. It should be threatened.
Okay.
By staff and neighbors. And then about 4 lines down, it says the investigation revealed that others on the property were bothered and harassed by the same individual as complainant. Then the next sentence, others that were brother and harassed. I think that means bothered and harassed.
Okay, got that noted.
That's it. Those are the only two.
Any other questions or anything for Aaron? Commissioner Cheney?
Hey, Aaron, I just wanted to just get, I guess, a little bit of clarification on a couple of things, if I could. I think the mediation report, and it's probably my misunderstanding, but the mediation report seems to indicate there are 22 cases, and then the enforcement report says there are 30 in mediation.
I think that was at the time that the report was due.
Okay.
They had transferred, I think, 8 cases from enforcement to mediation. So that was just,
They had.
yeah, those cases. I usually try to get those and put those as pending assignment.
Okay.
But it was just a must have missed the day in which the report was
Okay.
due.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and we
That's
have
helpful. I
one
just didn't get the
mediation
math.
scheduled since then.
Okay. And then I guess the other thing, and I realize that we currently are understaffed, but it seems like in looking at the number of cases that we have and how many, the average days open, that on our employment cases, we seem to be moving up a little bit on the average days open. I think in January it was like 342, and now it's up to 390. And I don't know that there's a significant change in the number of cases. It's probably the type. And then on public accommodation, it looks like we've gone from 528 to 546 days. I'm trying to understand. I'm not like going, what the heck? I just, can you give me a sense of what's going on?
Yeah. Aged cases have been enforcement's our focus, at least since this past November. After we met the EEOC contract in September, we immediately switched our focus to aged cases. I'm actually really proud. It's not showing in the numbers yet, but I'm actually really, really proud, because if you look at that open case list of the employment cases, I think we've closed out 8 of the 10 oldest. That you haven't seen a change in the actual average case age, because when our report is due, I couldn't take off the March cases because we can't take those off until the 14-day reconsideration period has ended. So by the time those orders are mailed and the next report is due, that 14-day case age, so those numbers are still listed. But I'm hoping by next commission meeting, because between last month and this month, like I said, we've closed 8 of the 10 oldest employment cases, which I'm really, really proud of. And we've managed to do that now with, I don't know if everyone knows, but our sole housing investigator got another job. So I'm now covering the housing cases. And then one of our employment investigators is on maternity leave. So we are down to slim pickings, but my team is really, really working hard on getting those out. And I'm hoping by next month, you'll see the number. It's just that 14-day reconsideration period in which we can't take those off yet. But I'm hoping by next month, you'll see that. As far as the PA cases are going, we're trying. We really are. We are really trying. I'm not saying that the PA cases get neglected, but there's not a contract there. So sometimes those are a little harder. But we're really working on addressing our age cases. We've actually also started a new process where every week at our case panel meeting, we are meeting on the oldest case in enforcement. So every week should be an old case going that we discuss and give direction. And sometimes just coming together in that case panel meetings and talking about it gives you clarity on which way you need to go. So we are making some measures to really try to address those and get those going. But the best thing that we can do is get our 2 empty vacant positions filled. And I think you'll really see a difference then.
And Commissioner Cheney.
Yeah, I knew that you all had been working really hard and that you'd made some internal changes. And so, I know you all are right on top of the issue. I just was trying to understand some of the fluidity of it, I guess. So thank you. And thank you also for all the hard work that you're doing, especially given the staffing pattern right now.
Oh, my team's pretty awesome. So kudos to them.
And Aaron and Commissioner Cheney, Aaron had asked me to share that with you all about the case age, but I really wanted her to be able to share that with you all about closing out the 8 of the 10 oldest, because that's a big win on their team's part. And so I wanted her to be able to share it instead of me. So sorry if that could have been relayed earlier, but I wanted to make sure Aaron had that opportunity. So thank you for asking the question as well.
Any other questions for anyone?
One very minor.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I just wanted to note that in reading through some of the case summaries, there are a couple of instances where there seems to be some language in them that could be interpreted as subjective. And I would just ask folks to be mindful of that. And I'm thinking particularly of the disability case with the gentleman at Walmart who got, I think, a 50-cent per hour reduction in hourly wage when the employer provided an accommodation to a different position. And I think what the case file referenced was that they got a slight reduction in their hourly rate. Granted, for many of us, 50 cents an hour might be slight, but when you look at it proportionately to the income of a low-income person, it no longer becomes slight. That's probably the utility bill. That's probably the grocery bill. And so if we could just be mindful of some of those descriptors, I would appreciate it.
Definitely will do.
Any other questions? Hearing none, would I like to have a motion to approve and accept the enforcement unit report with the changes that have been stated.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, move and second that enforcement unit report be approved and accepted with the noted changes. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor, raise your hand. You oppose? Okay, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item is the education outreach report.
Good morning, everyone. For the Education and Outreach Unit, my name is Mary Ann Taylor, and I supervise that unit. I am sorry that I missed last month's meeting. You missed one meeting, you come back, you have 4 new commissioners. So, hey, I don't know about that. But I lead a great team of 4, myself included as one of the 4. And that is a task when it means serving the whole state, 120 counties. Our unit is called Education and Outreach, but we have put quite a bit of effort into the intake division over the last 4 years just because of the numbers. But we have a director who has taken on quite a bit of education and outreach on his plate. So the outreach is definitely still being accomplished. We just aren't getting to do as much of it as we used to in our unit. One thing I wanted to add to the report that you have, and just to give you a little background, our report is not something you guys have to vote on monthly. It's more of a informational piece, but I do want to make sure that our new commissioners know what they're looking at when they see it. As I said, there are 4 of us in the unit. Glenda Stovall and I pretty much do the bulk of the intake. And I do strictly housing intake, and Glenda does all the rest. John Fisher and Juan Pena are also assisting us with intake, and they have been able to do more outreach activities than Glenda and I. So that is continuing. And what you see when you get our report is basically just a listing or an itinerary so that you can know and keep up with what we are doing or have been doing over the past month when we've been in your region. when we anticipate coming back to your area. Those are the kinds of things that you will see in our report. And then you'll also see our intake numbers. Just for a little bit of clarity, because sometimes some folks ask, when you see our education outreach report and it says number mailed employment inquiries, PA inquiries, that is by no means the number of intakes or calls, or that doesn't reflect necessarily the work that we're doing day to day. Those are numbers of intakes that we've taken that have met prima facie or have met all the legal criteria to actually be filed as a charge of discrimination. So that means that either Glenda or I have actually drafted a charge, which you see when you look at the case listing from enforcement. And we've mailed those out to the potential complainants. Number filed are the charges that have actually been returned to the Kentucky Commission on Human Rights. We can't file them until we receive them back in the mail with a signed complaint or signed charge, and it's been notarized. So that's why those numbers always look different. You may want to look at it and say, well, you sent out 21, but you only got 12 back. Most likely those 21 that we sent out are not the 12 that were returned. Those, those folks may not send their charge back for a month or two. But I just wanted you to kind of know what you were looking at when you see our report. On this particular one, there's an EEOC transfer. That means that Erin, in her wisdom, and or Glenda or our federal partners have requested a particular case that they need to or want to investigate, or they may want to do a dual investigation with us. In our contracts, there are a certain number of cases that we are required to transfer to them, and we do. So this month we had one, and really that's all. I just wanted you to know what you were looking at though when you actually see our report. The only other thing that I'd like to let you all know is I did send out the flyer this morning to you all about our upcoming Fair Housing Forum on the 21st of April. For our new commissioners, I will get your emails as soon as I can today and get those out to you. We have some great, as our director said, we have some great presenters for that forum. I have an agenda in front of me. So we're going to have our moderator, who's the executive director of the Metropolitan Housing Coalition. We're going to have our director. I don't know if he knows that or not. So okay, he's going to also be speaking. We're going to have the executive director of the Homeless and Housing Coalition of Kentucky. We're also going to have the executive director for Kentucky Refugees Ministries, the Homeless Coalition of Louisville, Louisville Metro Globalization, Americana, and Catholic Charities. All those organizations are going to be represented, and we're going to have either their director or a representative to serve on those panels. So that is a forum that's going to just be a wealth of knowledge and resource for anyone that chooses to Zoom in. And it will be webinar based. So we're hopefully going to be able to record and make it available on all of our social media sites as well. So I think that pretty much does it. As I said when we started, I'm Mary Ann Taylor. I am originally from Lexington, went to Transylvania, UK, and then on to Webster University. I've been at the commission 15 years now, and I feel like most of us have raised our families at the commission. We've all been there so long. It's nice to work in a place where you know everyone else has been there just as long as you, and it's just a wealth of knowledge, and I'm glad to meet and see all of you all.
Okay, thank you, Mary Ann. Are there any questions for Mary Ann? Any additional questions I should ask? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hearing none, the next item on the agenda is report of the legal unit. Colt.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Colt Sells. I'm the staff attorney for the commission. Nice to meet the new commissioners. My report's before you. We closed one case with conciliation, one with a private mediation, which results in a withdrawal with settlement. And then, as Aaron mentioned, the three of the cases that we had to pull today are mine. We mediated those, but were unable to get the settlement check in time for closure this month. So those are going to be slated for closure next month. We want to ensure that the complainant gets the check before we officially process the withdrawal of his complaints with us. But I'm happy to take any questions about the report at this time.
Any questions for Colt regarding the legal unit report? Okay, hearing none. Next item, there are no committee reports. Is there any old business? And we'll move to new business. And under new business, as we all know that since our last meeting, we had 3 of our commissioners who have resigned and moved on. And one of the things that is proposed is that we send to each of them a resolution from this board acknowledging their service and commending them for commending and expressing gratitude to them for having served as a member of this commission. And those have been prepared, and I propose that we send those out. Are there any objections or anything else anyone would like to add as it relates to those?
And just so you all know what it looks like, they kind of look like this. So just something that's nice and has been done in the past for commissioners who have served and left.
So we'll send those out. I guess in relation to the next item, in terms of if you have suggestions or items for topics for next month meeting, to get those to the executive director. And I encourage everybody, as you read the reports and you think of ways in which the information can be presented differently to give you a better feel and understanding for what the flow is. If you would make those kinds of suggestions and doing it, with the questions that I think Commissioner Cheney asked, one of the things I'm going to talk to the executive director about is showing a trend report that takes us from meeting to meeting in terms of cases, so that we're better able to track our case, and knowing that in some instances it will give us good information. In other instances, just because of the nature of the flow, it may not be that useful, but at least it gives us a sense of what's going on. And I guess with that, based on what you've heard today, does anybody have any suggestions or ideas they'd like to leave with the staff today?
I just want to encourage the staff to keep doing what you're doing, knowing that we indeed know and recognize the challenges you face in terms of being limited to staff, and of course working and advocating for, as executive director said. But I'm always impressed with the intimate knowledge that you have of the work you do and your commitment to what you do. So it doesn't hurt to pat each other on the back as well in the rat race that you're facing, because you're doing great and noble work, and it's being recognized, and I appreciate it personally. I know other commissioners do as well. So keep the morale up, don't, as we say in my vernacular, don't be weary in well-doing, because we are moving in a good direction. And so let's just keep focused and You know, hang in there. And that's basically my word.
Commissioner Cheney.
I just wanted to say thank you for the 2020 annual report. I think it is the first report in a number of years. If I'm not mistaken, there was a significant gap under maybe in the last 5 years prior to 2020, there was no annual report. It's a good document and it's got great information. I know that was an extra thing to do and to prepare, but I think it's reflective of the amazing work that you all are doing. And so thank you for that.
Okay, again, thank you to the staff for an excellent meeting. We are making progress. We'll continue to make progress, and working collectively and together, we will make even more. And when we're able to shake loose some of the purse strings in Frankfurt to get our staffing back to historical levels, we'll make even more progress. But again, thank each of you. And, you know, between meetings, if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to reach out to the executive director. He is available. He responds very, very quickly. Some days I wonder when does he go to sleep because I get messages at different hours, but he's available, and we've got a great staff, and we want to empower them to get the work done, and we want to be supportive of them. So again, thank all of you for today's meeting. And with that, we will adjourn without objection. Okay, thank you.